Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL. And we're back to Chiefs topics now. We're going to talk about Willie Gay Jr., what he brings, and really try to project from what we've seen on film and what the coaches have seen, what the scouts have seen, project to what will Willie do come the future. That's really what it's about. If you're new to the channel, like and sub and hit the bell notification. Leave your comment below and let me know what you think as well. As we get into this, Steve Spagnuolo talked to us this week, and we want to have his reaction, his evaluation of where he sees Willie, even though they haven't had a chance to practice yet. That's really what it is about. If you missed the Locked On Chiefs podcast this week, I had some other clips about player perception of Willie and Anthony Hitchens looking to mentor him and how this transition just might go. But first, you got to figure out, what does he bring to this team? And it's interesting to hear what Steve Spagnuolo said about it.
Well, it's interesting. Maybe I'm different in some ways with rookies, but I don't know that you know what you have until you get them here. Now look at Brett Veach and his staff did a terrific job identifying him. We're glad we have him. We're excited for what we think he can do. But until we get him out there, we won't really know. I mean, things jump off the chart with regards to speed. He's a violent hitter, which we love. Hopefully all those things will transfer to this league.
And so when you take it from that step and you realize that preparation is what this is all about, you have to look at whether the rules are going to relax enough to have a quote-unquote normal training camp. And Steve has some thoughts on that as well.
We're staying hopeful that will happen. And I know Coach Reed has talked to you guys already about his plans. And he's got all kinds of he's an organized man, so he's got us organized for whatever happens. And, for right now, until they tell us differently, we're very hopeful we get to training camp. I think I've told you this before. Training camp is one of my all-time favorite things to do in this business because you're up there, you're all together, you're in a dorm. I still like that. And it's all football, being around the guys. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and pray that we can have a normal training camp.
Now, when we look back at the 2019 season, no matter how successful it was in getting to and winning a championship, there's still room for improvement. And I think we've talked about some of the aspects of that. There's been some player personnel change, and that also kind of drifts towards what you want to do. But to hear Steve Spagnuolo about where this defense can go is interesting.
Well, first and foremost, and I think you all realize this, we need to begin the season better, in my opinion. We knew, Hitch and I talked about this yesterday because I called him yesterday, I hadn't talked to him in a while, but we knew there were going to be bumps in the road early with regards to feeling out coaches and players and what we had, what they could do, and a new system and the whole thing. And we went through some rough patches, but really because of the assistant coaches we have who just kept pounding the details and over and over and over and over, and the guys embracing it and not getting frustrated with all the walkthroughs we had and all the reps that we took. My hope is that we're past that. And it would be really nice if we could come out of the blocks and play good defense at the beginning of the season, not wait. Yeah, I think we maybe felt like it was 7 or 8 games before we really got in the groove.
When it comes to starting year 2, which is always a dramatic change from what we've seen in years past, and if you missed it, I did some research when Steve Spagnuolo was first hired and about what kind of evolution it was when his defenses really hit their stride, and yet generally it was year 2 and 3. So that's something to keep in mind, but you could take some takeaways from the way that they ramped up their performance at the end of last season and try to plug it into this, even though the offseason has been completely different. But Steve Spagnuolo has some thoughts about where that has to go and how you can build on 2019 success.
More than anything, myself and the coaches learning what our guys could and couldn't do was huge. And so going into this year, and fortunately for us, by great work by Brett Veach and his staff, we have most of the guys back. Now, not all of them. Some guys we're going to miss. But knowing what the abilities of those guys already going into year 2 might keep us from having to experiment, so to speak. And we can keep, we've sat here with the scheme and said, okay, let's keep this because our guys are really good at it. And maybe we get rid of that, add something in. So there is, the hope is that you grow in the system, you can expand a little bit, just like Andy always talks about with his offense, where they keep adding. I know you guys had all kinds of questions for Patrick Mahomes, what can he do in his second year? And you're right where you're going. And I think Andy told you that you keep adding and building what they can absorb, the more they embrace, the better we can be. I feel the same way on defense because I do think in this league nowadays you got to be multiple in enough regards to keep people off balance. So hopefully we can do that.
Now, that said, there's some new cogs that have to fit into this defense. And in particular, there are top two defensive picks in Willie Gay Jr. that you heard about, and L'Jarius Sneed, who you heard me talk all kinds of things about, because I do feel that both of them have a really interesting ability to get on the field fairly early as rookies, which is counterintuitive for a Super Bowl winning team. Now, Willie Gay, it's because of the departure of Reggie Ragland. And I think the fit there is pretty clear, and I think the nickel is even going to be better. That may take some time to gel, to come along. And certainly what we heard from Anthony Hitchens this week, and if you missed it, it's on the Locked On Chiefs podcast. Very interesting stuff there as well. But that said, L'Jarius Sneed brings a bit of everything, and you guys know that he worked out as a safety, played there his senior year, but played a lot of corner before that. And I'm pretty high on the impact that he's able to have, and I think Steve Spagnuolo is too.
First, Willie. I think we'll probably begin with Willie at one of the outside positions. We think, without knowing right away, that we're hopeful, I should say that he would replace what Reggie Ragland did for us last year. Now, again, I preface that by saying we won't know that until we get him. I think we're a long way away from, you guys get it. I mean, they come from college into the pros. Trying to get him up to speed takes a little while. And look at he loses, all these young guys lose out on not having these foundation of reps, whether it's mental or walkthroughs. It feels like, guys and gals, it feels like 2011 when we had the lockout when I was in St. Louis and we didn't have all those guys. Now we're way ahead of that because we have these Zoom meetings. But I think Willie Gay will begin there. Whatever else we can do with him, we'll build on that. L'Jarius Sneed, I was very impressed with his tape with regards to all the things that he did. He played corner, and he's a big corner. He played some nickel. He covered slot receivers, and they actually played him at safety. And I thought he did really good at all of them. We see him as a corner right now, and we'll see where that progresses to. But I think anybody that can come in with that kind of flexibility is a good thing.
I do think that Sneed being able to do multiple things, and I honestly didn't even consider him as a nickel at the time, so that's important. But I think Steve Spagnuolo will be considerably more creative with what he can do with an athlete like that can do those multiple things. Now, he also has to get in the room, and virtual room at this point, but get into the room with the other corners, and I think that's going to help him a lot. And Bashaud Breeland has been participating a little bit about him as well.
And I don't even know where it is game-wise and all that. But Breezy has been in the meetings with us, been very engaged, and he's done a heck of a job. So, again, that's another player that we have that is a second year in the system. I'm glad we got him back. And just like you're talking about, I think we'll just let that play out. I know Coach Reed has addressed it, and I'll kind of stand on whatever he has said. But I'm just, from our regard, I'm just glad we got him back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I don't know the rest of that, but he's been in our meetings for as much as we can do right now, which is good. I'm glad about that.
And that's important because Bashaud Breeland has a chance, again, to help grow these younger players. I'm pretty excited about this pair, how they're going to fit in this defense and where it can go. Looks like Steve Spagnuolo is too. So if you are new, make sure you hit the sub button, hit that bell notification so you know when something new comes out. Leave your comment below. Leave a thumbs up if you like this one. It helps YouTube find us. I appreciate everything you guys have been doing. Memberships are coming. Some new merch is coming. I have a great shirt coming for you. I think you guys are going to really dig. And there's more. So continue working through this summer as we get through this COVID. Everyone stay safe, please. Take care of yourselves. Be back here for next week. We'll do the Q&A a week following Memorial Day like normal, but I'll have some video for you. So I appreciate you checking this one out. Check these, and I'll catch you next time.